Hey guys, what's going on? Welcome to our video critique of two blogs. I'm Ben Ward.
I'm Morgan Benedict.
I'm Corey Dickinson.
I'm Kellen McCoy.
And we have decided to critique two different types of beer blogs. One that's actually stationed here in Missouri in the United States, and another one that's stationed overseas. We have one called Beer Enthusiast 26.blogspot.com and another one that is called 64 bottles of beer on the wall.wordpress.com. So looking at these two blog guys, what do you guys think overall about them? What do you think of the way they look?
I like Beer Enthusiast quite a bit going into it as far as the background. It's got a lot of visual appeal, but the farther you get into it, the more you learn to hate it. And this is just coming from me because it's just so ungodly orange.
Yeah, very, very orange. I like how it first shows the beer design like a glass of beer, but then once you get past that, yeah, I think it's pretty boring.
Yeah, I think it's got a good design to it. The initial idea of the beer, a glass in the background is nice, and the lettering that resembles Oktoberfest, it's what is going well for it. It's got a lot of different glasses of beer in the background that provide interest, but could use some work. Yeah.
64 bottles just has a black background, but he does have a lot more links to different sites than Beer Enthusiast does.
Yeah, very plain type of design overall to his blog. I'd agree with that.
Yeah,
So,
but as of content-wise, I'd say that an advocate of beer blogging, someone who wants to get on these websites and learn about beers and read about them, I think 64 beers on the wall is definitely providing more interest for the reader.
Overall, he's just a better writer than Beer Enthusiast. I mean, nothing on his content. It's kind of short and it's kind of paint by numbers. It seems like the more you get into his blogs.
yeah, 64. I mean, definitely has better overall content. I also like how he blogs more often. I mean, Beer Enthusiast, for somebody that's calling them a beer enthusiast, he doesn't really do his reviews that often, which is kind of a downside, especially when his page shows so many views. So many people, I think it was close to 4,000 actually wanting to look at his blog, and yet he doesn't do it that often. I think that's kind of a bum deal.
It's a lot of disappointed followers.
Yeah, I think that would be definitely the one thing that makes and break these blogs, is that someone who calls themselves a beer enthusiast doesn't actually seem to be that enthusiastic about posting about beer. And the fact that this other guy really knows what he's talking about, I think that makes his blog.
Yeah, I will say also Beer Enthusiast, I mean, I'm not blind and I can read pretty easily, but his letters were a lot smaller. His wording was a lot smaller than 64 bottles of beer on the wall.
Mm-hmm.
I did like that about 64, how, he used bold letters, he used different colors on his letters, he used bigger letters, I guess liked it overall more.
The first thing that kind of stood out to me, or one of the first things I should say, is lack of humor on one versus another. And that's just personal interest when I'm reading a blog. Is I always like the writer to have some kind of sense of humor, otherwise it's just dry from start to finish. And Beer Enthusiast did not, he didn't really keep me entertained. And especially with something like this, you have to be fairly entertained because you don't want to just read about alcohol by volume for 3 pages.
Yeah, 64 bottles he tried to engage the reader, where Beer Enthusiast just gave the scientific facts about the beer.
Yeah, I would disagree a little bit with that. I mean, a blog about beer, I'll probably, read it at least once or twice, whether it's good or not. So, I mean, just because it's something that I like, but I do agree with what you're saying. I mean, I can understand why people would be drawn away from that blog. I mean, is it something that you think people should go look at? Do you think it's something that people should go read, these two blogs? Would you do it if you weren't having to do it right now for an assignment?
Personally, I probably wouldn't recommend these two blogs. I think that there's more popular blogs out there that, someone that wants to read about it could, but I'd say these two blogs have information on them that is useful to the reader. 64 Beers on the Wall definitely has a personality, and that can attract viewers,
I totally agree. Part of blogging is entertaining and getting foot traffic. You're trying to reach as many people as you possibly can, and if your content's poor or if your design's poor, it's just, Beer Enthusiast made it to 4,000 followers or 4,000 views. That's pretty decent, but then he just kind of fell off, which means he's either given up or got bored with blogging. So,
Right.
Yeah, for that sake, I wouldn't recommend these two.
Right, so that was our critique over beer